Hey, there was this one call, I'm guessing 3 or 4 years ago, where Christian homeschoolers meets at First Baptist, which is behind me, and they let out about 3 o'clock or so. And I was at the recycling center down this way and sitting at the intersection by the new McDonald's, and tones went out for EMS and said that 2 kids got hit by a car down here in front of the Christian Academy. And I thought, I bet you that's a chill kid, or I don't care whose kid it is, but I bet I know these kids. And back then the fire department was not allowed to respond to EMS calls unless it was something dire requested. So I kind of headed that way unofficially, kind of wide open, and then they said it was 2 kids hit for sure, and so, and they acted like, they said multiple vehicles involved, but it turned out to not be. So I jumped it up a notch. Train tracks, pulled around there and pulled in. There was 2 ambulances, EMS director, all kinds of cars, parents, and I recognized some of the parents. And what had happened was 3 kids had tried to go across the street, and I still don't know if they messed up or the driver messed up, and it doesn't really matter, but 2 of the 3 got hit pretty good too. So I pulled up and looked, and I saw one of the boys from my class. He was sitting on his knees, had that look on his face like, I just got hit by a car, because he did. And the other one they were assessing. But then when you see people that you know, you kind of, you care, but when you see people you're like, oh man, and then you do a quick patient assessment, and you look at the medics, you can tell by the way they're acting that it's not critical. And it's a bit of a sigh of relief. And then the parents came over and asked, how is he? I said, doesn't look like anything's too serious. They don't know yet, but nobody's freaking out. So you can visibly see the reaction for the parents, like, okay, good. And then we loaded them up and to talk to the kids, and if I remember correctly, they both went in the same ambulance and treated and released at the hospital, best I remember. But that's why I got involved, was to work with, help people, but to help local people. So that could have been a really, really bad situation, but it turned out to not be too bad. And then after that, years later, whenever we'd go out we'd walk around town during my class sometimes, kind of like take a 1-hour field trip around town. I'd say, everybody look both ways. Oh, except for you 2 boys, because y'all don't know how to look both ways before you cross the street. And you kind of have that kind of humor, and they take it in stride. But, it's a pretty traumatic event for them. And what I understood is the one that did not get hit kind of had some survivor's guilt to it, even though they all survived. But, it could have been a whole lot worse. Quick response by EMS, and everybody did a good job. And there it is. So that's just one story. But I drive around, I see all these runs. I had come from the intersection to my house one day and count all the runs, and there was 101 runs that I've made from new McDonald's to my house in downtown Stringtown. But every time I go by there's a flashing light down there for a crosswalk. There's a reason for that, and you can sit there and watch people go through at least 20 over the speed limit, like this car coming up here. But there's a reason there's a crosswalk there, because watch out, because kids aren't watching, or it's just a busy place. So slow down for 100 yards, and you may make it. You see the flashing light there, and you look on down where that white car is. That's where the speed zone ends. That's only about 200 yards, maybe, to kind of slow down. It's not that much to do, because you may plow some kid, and if you kill the kid, even if it's not your fault, you got that to live with the rest of your life. But that's one call from Anderson County.